some long-time aircraft from the United States Marine Corps.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, the Osprey had a very long history. But the Marine Corps stayed on it, and they believed in it because of the capabilities it brings to fight for a commander, for the Marine Corps in general. We've got vertical lift capability, but we've also got the ability to fly like an aircraft, so you can get places faster, go higher. We do a lot of things with this aircraft that we're weren't able to do previous. So it's really changed the game for the Marine Corps metaphorically as what our capabilities are now versus what they were. So.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you look at the Osprey, I'm going to take you back to the 1980s when Bell Helicopter actually demonstrated something known as the MV-22 tilt rotor. It was the way, it was the predecessor to what has become this new lifter for the United States Marine Corps. Two rotors, and each of the rotors is 38 feet in diameter, and when you put them together, the full span with the rotors flying a span of just over 85 feet, it has the capability of carrying 24 fully equipped combat troops that were 9,000 pounds plus inside for a 15,000-pound external load. One of the big deals, John, that is important for the Marine Corps is to get guys in and out quickly.
Absolutely.
Do it faster than a helicopter can.
Well, you know, the reason that the Osprey was initially conceived was because in the Iran hostage crisis that happened in 1980, it demonstrated to the United States military that we needed a new type of aircraft that could not only take off and land vertically, but also carry combat troops at extremely high speeds. So it was really born from a failure in what happened in the Iranian desert in 1980.
So as we see it, the pilot has in his or her right hand what in helicopter mode would be called a sight lift stick. In an aircraft, it's called a joystick or just a control stick. The left hand is the power lever in a conventional airplane. In a helicopter, it would be called the collective.
Now watch this, Rob. He's taking a bow for us. He's demonstrating the versatility of this airframe.
Yes, indeed. Flies like a helicopter. At his or her feet, two pedals that in helicopter mode are anti-torque pedals. It actually is so complex that rather than having a tail rotor, it changes the pitch of the blades on each of the rotors in a differential manner so it can do a pedal turn, or with the thumb on the power level of the pilot can rotate those nacelles in excess of 90 degrees straight up. As you saw a moment ago, the pilot backed it up. They can go back almost 98 degrees, or with the left thumb and the power lever, the pilot can push it forward and transition to forward flight. Landing like a helicopter, what's next?
So you know what's great about this is there's probably a lot of parents out there trying to yank their kids off of video games. Listen, the person who's good at a video game is going to be able to pilot one of our Ospreys. So there is hope out there, parents. Don't give up on them because they love these video games. They're going to be great Osprey pilots. Watch it now as it takes off just like an aircraft. It is taking off like an airplane, and then it's going to tilt over. It can't take off like a normal with its fully in horizontal position because of the span of those props. But it's taking off now like an aircraft, like an airplane in traditional horizontal flight, and then it will quickly transition to a helicopter. The cool thing about the Osprey is that it couldn't do this without polymers, without all kinds of very, very high technology
Those composites.
materials. These composites, polymers, there's all kinds of things that make it lighter. And there's titanium, there's graphite, there's all types of things in there that make it possible. We could not have done this 30 years ago because we didn't have the technology to build something like that. That's like space shuttle technology.
Indeed it is. Two 6,000 pounds roll of shaft horsepower, I should say, 6,000 horsepower, shaft horsepower, Rolls-Royce engines. Now, when I talk about the left thumb of the pilot, I am not kidding. I've talked to Osprey pilots. If for some reason an Osprey pilot injures his or her left thumb, can't fly the aircraft because it is the left thumb that enables it to tilt the nacelles from straight up, or actually 98 degrees, down to full forward flight for a top speed of nearly 325 miles an hour.
Which is unheralded for a helicopter. Now it's flying, it's demonstrating what it can do with its nacelles at a 45-degree angle.
And swinging them down, you can see forward flight. Now, John, you told me that this aircraft can actually land on a marine assault carrier.
Yeah, it can land on.
Isn't it, John?
It certainly is.
It's quiet. Able to get in and get out more quickly than a helicopter. Spends less time in the field of enemy fire than a helicopter would, and because of its ability to go at extremely high speeds, helicopters, because of their design, and I don't want to get into all the physics of it, but those kinds of limitations on that to 180 or 185 miles an hour.
They can take off from a ship, a very small platform out in the ocean, fly in 500 miles, and land like a helicopter on something the size of half a football field, deposit troops, equipment, materials, manpower, and bring Marines to the fight, which is where we belong, in the fight.
When it lands on a helicopter, the Osprey, with its over 85-foot span to the tips of the rotors when it's in its flying mode, takes up a lot of space.
15 pilots. It was the first time an Osprey was used for what we call a trap mission, or the tactical recovery of aircraft personnel.
And there is a roll-on landing, transitioning from forward fixed-wing flight with that thumb switch right on the left hand of the power lever, left thumb of the pilot on that power lever to enable it to come back in. Enabling it to come back in for a very, very smooth landing. Well, I tell you, John Reeves, that is pretty cool. So glad that we've got an opportunity to see the